unconscionable and totally unacceptable.
And the NWC commits to investigating the source of the lingering foul odor.
Classes at Rockabessa Primary are expected to resume in short order following Wednesday night's fire at the school.
So the main buildings on the plan, they are intact. We can resume to face-to-face in short order.
The man accused of killing 2 women at a candlelight vigil in Mandeville has been charged.
JDF staff sergeant charged with physically assaulting a woman at her workplace.
In news from the rest of the world, Anguilla prepares to swear in its first female head of government.
U.S. President Donald Trump plans to double the 10% tariff charged on imports from China.
In headline sports, FIFA considers significant changes to match schedule at next year's World Cup over heat concerns.
And later in our broadcast, in our cover story at 5:35, principal of Rockabessa Primary School, Winsome McFarlane Forbes, says face-to-face learning will resume soon following a fire that destroyed sections of the school on Wednesday. We'll hear from the MP for Western St. Mary, Robert Montague, and Commissioner of the Jamaica Fire Brigade, Stuart Beckford.
From 6 to 9, we'll broadcast live the Jamaica Labour Party's Area Council 1 meeting being held at the Stony Hill Heart Academy in West Rural St. Andrew. You'll hear from the constituency's MP, Juliet Cuthbert Flynn, West Kingston MP, Desmond McKenzie, Eastern St. Andrew MP, Fayval Williams, and more.
All these and more as we take you home on air on your mobile Nationwide 90 FM, Nationwide Radio JM.com, and on the Nationwide app available on Google Play and the App Store. This Thursday afternoon, it's Thursday, February 27, 2025.
News at 5 is brought to you by KFC's Big Deal. Order through carry-out, drive-thru, delivery, WhatsApp, or the new KFC Jamaica mobile app. KFC Big Deal. Anything for the taste.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. Classes at Greater Portmore High School went online on Thursday after teachers and other staff protested against the failure to end a persistent foul odor from a nearby sewage treatment plant operated by the National Water Commission (NWC). The staff refused to go to classes. The protest led to an early dismissal on Wednesday. Robian Williams reports.
Greater Portmore High School is one of 3 educational institutions located in the vicinity of the Greater Portmore Ponds wastewater treatment plant in the densely populated community. Originally built in 1991, the plant was upgraded and commissioned anew in 2022. Over the years, the plant has been the source of many complaints, including constant overflows, sewage backups, and its unbearable stench. Students and staff of the schools have not gone unaffected. And on Wednesday, for the second time in a year, the high school brought its frustration over the long-standing issue to the public. Principal of Greater Portmore High School, Ricardo Ross, spoke with our news center.
The National Water Commission would have promised us faithfully over 1 year ago that they will put some measures in place to alleviate the situation experienced at the Greater Portmore High School. They indicated that they were going to be sourcing and installing 2 additional pumps. Along with that, they were going to be doing some deodorizing, and they were also going to ensure that the deposits, external deposit, that is collection of sewage from outside to come and dump, would have taken place outside of school time. And we realized that there are scant regard to all of that. Up to week before last, within 1 day, there were 3 trucks coming to dump during school time.
Mr. Ross notes that formal complaints have been lodged with the NWC, the Ministries of Health and Education, and the National Environment and Planning Agency. He's also raising concern about the health risks posed by the stench.
It is affecting every individual within the school community. Parents would have registered their frustration in spending excess amount of funds on a weekly or monthly basis in regard to taking their child to doctor. Staff members would have exhausted their health card. We have a large number of persons who would have developed respiratory illness since coming here.
The administration resorted to having classes online on Thursday and says it remains resolute in its stance until the matter is resolved.
As it is now, we are trying our very best to ensure that our students are engaged in the virtual space because we are still experiencing the situation with the stench coming from the sewage plant. It is unbearable, and the report or the update we receive from the National Water Commission is totally unacceptable.
Principal Ross says if the problem persists, the Ministry of Education may need to consider relocating the school.
And one of the things that is hurting is that when a representative from the NWC is going to say that the matter can be resolved, but it is going to be a costly venture, it is suggesting that the matter can be resolved. Or, I don't know, maybe the ministry have to also perhaps think about relocating the school, because the reality is that the school is literally sitting at the bank of the sewage plant.
Meanwhile, Mr. Ross says arrangements are being made for a Ministry of Education representative to meet with the administration to discuss the way forward. Robeanne Williams for Nationwide News.
Meanwhile, the National Water Commission, NWC, says a team will be conducting maintenance work to further investigate the source of any lingering odors at the sewage treatment plant. Acting Corporate Public Relations Manager at the NWC, Delano Williams, says several remedial measures have already been put in place to address the issue.
Significant steps have been taken to follow through on the measures that we agreed to implement. On February 19th, a new pump and switchgear were installed, and we have observed improvement in plant operations. However, based on the feedback from the school, there are still persisting issues, and so we will be conducting an urgent follow-up to identify these points. Additionally, over the next coming days and weeks, ongoing maintenance work will be complemented by the installation of aerators and the further clearing of vegetation from the ponds and the perimeter areas. NWC will also be working closely with local authorities to address concerns with wildlife and the general safety at the ponds.
Mr. Williams says the NWC is committed to implementing a lasting solution to the problem.
Our aim is to ensure a healthier and more comfortable environment for the school community to operate in. We again apologize to the Greater Portmore School for the current displacement and remain committed to ensuring the quickest resolution. We thank the community for their patience and will maintain open communication that has been established.
Delano Williams, Acting Corporate Public Relations Manager at the National Water Commission.
Classes are set to resume at Rockabessa Primary School in short order. That's according to principal of the school, Winsome McFarlane Forbes. She says the fire was contained to an isolated area of the property.
Moving forward, the fire personnel, they have visited the school to do their investigation. Also, the police officers from the scene of crime, the electrician has visited as well and he has done some work to remove the wires that were hanging. So the fire is isolated to a particular section of the school. So the main buildings on the plant, they are intact. So we can resume to face-to-face in short order. NSWMA has promised to help us to remove the rubble tomorrow morning.
Mrs. Forbes says 3 rooms were destroyed by the fire.
We'd have lost 3 rooms, 3 timber rooms. So one housed the PE, let's say the PE department. So we'd have all the equipment there. The other 2 rooms, we had 2 classes in one of the rooms, which we were establishing Farragon as a special education unit, and the other room was abandoned. But it contained furniture, some furniture as well. So we'd have lost furniture, electrical fans, tablets that the children were using there, and so all our football gear for the netballers, the footballers, trophies for sport, cricketing equipment, all equipment to deal with sports. We'd have lost all of that.
Mrs. Winsome McFarlane Forbes, principal of Rockabessa Primary School. Sections of the school were destroyed by fire on Wednesday. The fire brigade was alerted to the scene sometime after 11 p.m. Videos circulating on social media show the sections of the school building engulfed in flames.
And the Minister of Education, Senator Dr. Dana Morris Dixon, has reaffirmed the government's commitment to restoring normalcy at the school. In a statement on Thursday, Dr. Morris Dixon says the ministry is moving with urgency to provide support for the school and to identify alternative spaces to ensure that students can resume learning as soon as possible. She has also commended the Jamaica Fire Brigade and the ministry's technical team for their swift response to the incident. The ministry says representatives from the ministry's building unit are presently assessing the extent of the damage and identifying solutions for temporary classroom accommodation. In addition, the regional education officer and a social worker visited the school on Thursday to provide immediate support.
Meanwhile, Commissioner of the Jamaica Fire Brigade, Stuart Beckford, says investigations are still ongoing to establish the cause of the fire.
We have a team of investigators on location as we speak, trying to unearth what would have been the cause. They have so far come up on a theory which they are working with, but they have not yet come down conclusively on a cause of this fire. We are in touch with the principal and the staff members of the school. A couple of them will be interviewed by our investigators as part of the investigative process, so we can get a better appreciation of exactly what would have taken place there last night when we got this call.
Stuart Beckford, Commissioner of the Jamaica Fire Brigade.
Jamaicans for Justice JFJ is standing firm in its stance on the sharp increase in fatal police shootings this year. It's responding to a recent statement by Police Commissioner Dr. Kevin Blake, who challenged the human rights organization on its view. The organization says it has also noted the subsequent public discourse surrounding the issue. Siobhan Campbell tells us more.
Since the start of February, 25 people have been killed by the police in alleged confrontations. The figure for January was 28. That's nearly 3 times the number killed by police when compared to the same 2-month period in 2024. JFJ has condemned the killings, arguing that at least one Jamaican citizen is killed by the security forces each day. However, Police Commissioner Dr. Kevin Blake dismissed the concern.
I strongly support the view that the number of fatal shootings is too high. However, the call is wrongly directed and should be aiming at those who make the decision to challenge a far more superior force. And so let me encourage Jamaican for Justice to be more responsible in their public pronouncements, especially when the nation is aware of its members' proven ability to comprehend the most basic and fundamental principles of security. To suggest that fatal shooting numbers can be reduced by anything other than the unwillingness of persons being apprehended to engage in deadly confrontation with members of the security forces is irresponsible, or at best advocating for us to relent in our pursuit.
But JFJ is not backing down. While acknowledging the need for the police to combat high levels of criminal activity, JFJ has reiterated its concern about the growing number of fatal police encounters. It says such incidents warrant closer examination. In its response, JFJ conceded that law enforcement officers often operate in hostile environments, necessitating robust crime-fighting measures. However, the organization pointed out that in several instances, eyewitness accounts and forensic evidence have contradicted official police reports. While JFJ clarified it was not outrightly asserting that these incidents were extrajudicial killings, it emphasized the need for thorough investigations, especially given the discrepancies in some cases. The organization says body-worn cameras will bridge the gaps. JFJ says the cameras are critical to ensuring transparency and accountability in law enforcement. The organization argues that such devices would not only protect citizens' rights, but also serve as evidence to exonerate officers involved in controversial shootings. Further, the JFJ has questioned the effectiveness of the 750 body-worn cameras that the Jamaica Constabulary Force claims to have deployed. The organization is calling for clarity on whether any footage from fatal police encounters has been available and inquired about the timeline for establishing the necessary data storage infrastructure to ensure the technology is fully functional. In response to the Commissioner's suggestion that the organization is seeking relevance, the organization stated that it takes such a remark as a badge of honor. It reaffirmed its commitment to justice, transparency, and equity, noting that these issues remain as crucial today as they have been in the past. Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
You're listening to Nationwide News at 5. More news after these.
Value Drug Pharmacy offers curbside pickup and delivery of your branded and generic drugs. WhatsApp your prescription to 876-881-6695. The time by Value Drug Pharmacy is
16 minutes after 5.
Rentokil Initial offers air purification solutions with triple filtration and unique auto-sensing capabilities that neutralizes malodor and replaces it with clean air. Call Rentokil Initial at 926-4236 for more details.
The temperature by Rentokil is...
It's 29 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 28 in Montego Bay.
Ready to take your investments to new heights? Look no further. Barita Investments Limited just scored an A+ credit rating from CariCris. This affirms that your money is stable with a team dedicated to financial strength and expertise. Join the ranks of satisfied investors who trust Barita to deliver results. Don't just invest, elevate your financial journey with Barita Investments today. Call us at 888-429-5333 or visit any of our locations at Kingston, Montego Bay or Mandeville.
Continuing the news, the man accused of killing 2 women at a candlelight vigil in Mandeville, Manchester on Sunday has been charged. He is 50-year-old Patrick Thompson, a telephone engineer of Levy Lane in Mandeville. Thompson has been charged with 2 counts of murder and 3 counts of wounding with intent. It's understood a dispute developed between Thompson, who is a licensed firearm holder, and several other persons at the vigil. Thompson reportedly parked his car in an open lot next to his premises when a car driven by another man who was leaving the vigil hit his vehicle. The two began arguing and others joined in. Thompson reportedly pulled his gun and fired several times, hitting 5 people, including a 12-year-old. 2 women succumbed to their injuries, while the others were admitted for treatment. Dead is 35-year-old Aldine Dixon of Colleyville in northeast Manchester and 42-year-old Stacey Ann Mulgrave of Barnstable near Mandeville. Thompson is being represented by attorney-at-law Jonathan Burton.
A Jamaica Defence Force soldier is facing multiple charges following an incident in which he physically assaulted a woman at her workplace. He's been identified as 42-year-old Staff Sergeant Lascelles Burke. He's charged with possession of a firearm with intent to injure and assault occasioning grievous bodily harm. Burke is also charged with making use of a firearm to commit a felony. It's reported that on February 16, Burke visited the woman at her workplace and an argument developed. Burke reportedly hit and kicked the woman several times, causing pain, bruises, and swelling. He reportedly also pushed the woman against a wall and forced his firearm in her mouth. Burke then left the premises. He was subsequently interviewed in the presence of his attorney. A file was prepared and submitted to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, which ruled that he be charged.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
The World in a Minute.
Anguilla is set to make history as the island prepares to swear in its first female head of government. Cora Richardson Hodge led the main opposition, Anguilla United Front, AUF, to a decisive victory in Wednesday's general election. The AUF captured 8 of the 11 parliamentary seats. The outgoing Anguilla Progressive Movement, led by Premier Dr. Ellis Webster, managed to retain only 3 seats. Richardson Hodge has served as a member of the Anguillan House of Assembly for Sandy Hill since winning the seat in the 2020 general election. She has been the leader of the opposition in the House of Assembly since July 2020. Beyond politics, Richardson Hodge is a principal and attorney at law.
U.S. President Donald Trump has indicated that he plans to double the 10% universal tariff charged on imports from China. In a social media post on Thursday, Trump says he'll also move forward with a threatened 25% tax on imports from Canada and Mexico. The tariffs are set to take effect March 4. China, Mexico, and Canada are America's top 3 trade partners. Trump has announced the tariffs on Mexico and Canada earlier this month unless the 2 nations increased border security. He paused the measures for a month after the 2 countries agreed to increase border funding and have discussions on drug trafficking.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose Assembly and Supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
Recapping the top stories making nationwide news at this hour, classes at Greater Portmore High School go online as teachers continue their protest over the persistent stench from a nearby sewage treatment plant.
And the NWC commits to investigating the cause of the foul odor.
Classes at Aracabessa Primary are expected to resume in short order following Wednesday night's fire at the school.
The man accused of killing 2 women at a candlelight vigil in Mandeville has been charged.
I'm Robianne Williams.
And I'm Mahiri Stewart.
You can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app available on Google Play and the App Store. News next, 6 tomorrow morning.
News at 5 was brought to you by KFC's Big Deal. Order through carry-out, drive-through, delivery, WhatsApp, or the new KFC Jamaica mobile app. KFC Big Deal. Anything for the taste.
We a big deal when we touch ground. Yeah, I can see when we're pulling up. Anything for the taste what we love. Barbecue, spicy and original, flavorful, crispy, irresistible. 3-piece with the fries and a Pepsi. Go get your one big deal, stop stress me. All when we dip on the toilet, no left foot.
Anything for the taste of a juicy, crunchy, irresistible KFC Big Deal. 3 pieces of delicious chicken, fries and Pepsi. KFC, it's finger licking good.
Sports at 5 is brought to you by Total Tools. They almost always have it.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. Football's world governing body FIFA is considering unprecedented significant changes to the tournament schedule at next year's World Cup finals in response to concerns about extreme heat. World Cup matches will be played in the United States, Mexico, and Canada. A recent study has highlighted the intense conditions expected during the summer months in the host nations, prompting recommendations that are now under consideration by FIFA. The recommendations would significantly impact the tournament's format and player welfare. A study conducted by Queen's University in Belfast has analyzed the meteorological conditions expected across the various tournament venues during the summer months. The study concluded that high temperatures, significant humidity, and intense solar radiation will be prevalent. Based on this analysis, the researchers have recommended 2 key changes. 1, adjusting match times to avoid peak heat and extending mandatory hydration breaks to more than 3 minutes per half. Recommendations which directly address player safety and well-being. The 2026 World Cup isn't the first to be held in a region known for intense heat. In 1970 and 1986, the tournaments were held in Mexico. 1994, United States all faced criticism regarding match scheduling and high temperatures. The late Argentine maestro Diego Armando Maradona famously voiced his concern about match timing during the Mexico 86 tournament, which he completely and utterly dominated. Although FIFA ignored those concerns, the 1994 World Cup final played at midday registered temperatures of 40 degrees Celsius, highlighting the potential risks associated with poorly scheduled matches in hot climates. This history underscores the importance of taking preventive measures in 2026. Only 3 of the 16 2026 venues, Dallas, Houston, and Atlanta, currently have cooling systems installed in their stadium. This limited availability means that mitigating the effects of extreme heat will rely heavily on scheduling adjustments and appropriate hydration breaks. West Ham United moved further away from the drop zone in the English Premier League today after easing to a 2-0 win over Leicester City at the Olympic Stadium in London. Thomas Soucek and an own goal by Yannick Vestergaard did the trick for the Hammers, who are now on 33 points and 14th in the standings. Leicester could have helped themselves out of the relegation zone with a victory. Instead, they remain second from the bottom with 17 points. La Liga president Javier Tebas says he has reported Manchester City, the English champions, to the European Commission for alleged breaches of rules relating to state-owned companies. Tebas, a long-standing critic of City, told media at the FT Business of Football Summit that the complaint was made in 2023. He said he believed the case was currently in an investigation phase by the European Commission, the executive body of the European Union, which develops and enforces laws for its member states. Tebas said that the complaint centers on his belief that City have a structure that circumvents the rules, including a group of companies in the United Arab Emirates outside the City Football Group. La Liga argues that has given the Premier League champions a competitive advantage in both the English competition and the European Champions League. City have not commented on Tebas' allegations, but club sources are aware of them and strongly refute them. Pakistan's game against Bangladesh in the Champions Trophy was abandoned without a ball being bowled because of rain in Rawalpindi today. The umpires called the match off 90 minutes after the scheduled start time. It is the second game in Rawalpindi to fall victim to the weather following the abandonment of Australia's meeting with South Africa on Tuesday. Both Pakistan and Bangladesh had already been eliminated from the tournament, having lost their opening 2 games. Hosts Pakistan, the reigning champions, lost to New Zealand by 60 runs and India by 6 wickets, and they finished bottom of Group A with a point. Meanwhile, Bangladesh will finish third following a 6-wicket defeat against India and a 5-wicket loss to New Zealand. Jamaica's top junior athletes will begin their quest to be on the plane to Trinidad and Tobago for the Carifta Games when they compete at the 3-day trials at GC Foster College starting tomorrow. The event was originally set for the National Stadium, but organizers were forced to relocate due to essential track maintenance. Urban Knights will take on St. George's Slayers in Game 1 of a doubleheader in the National Basketball League at the stadium courts this evening at 6:15. In the second game, Portmore Flames will do battle with Spanish Town Spartan. And finally in sports at this time, coach of Jamaica's senior women's football team, Hubert Busby, says the 2-match international friendly against Peru was useful in new talent. The Reggae Girls won both games. They beat the host 3-2 on Wednesday, and this followed a 2-0 win on Sunday. Busby says all their objectives were met.
We're trying to make sure that the players see a pathway into the senior team, and that's why we play these games. You know, obviously we want to, as I said before, the prerequisite is always to get a result, but it's the performance and finding a way to win. And again, you know, credit to Peru. They gave us a really tough game and we got off to a really good start. But, you know, we have to manage that over the line. And again, credit to the players, credit to the staff for us finding a way to get the result. But again, more important, give the young players some valuable experience.
That's coach of the national senior women's football team, Hubert Busby. That's sports.
Sports at 5 was brought to you by Total Tools. They almost always have it.
Since 2016, 156,000 more Jamaicans are working. This is more than any other time in our history. Your government is caring for you.
The time brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister is
5:30.
The NWC's bill-free promotion is here. Be one of 350 persons to get $20,000 water credit when you pay your bill in full every month until March 31, 2025. And there's more. Oh yes, you can win $300,000, $200,000 or $100,000 cash in the NWC's bill-free promotion if you register for e-bill and pay your bill in full every month until March 31. Conditions apply. Visit nwcjamaica.com for details. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act, a part of the NWC's bucket full of goodies.
We a big deal when we touch ground. Yeah, I can see when we're pulling up. Anything for the taste what we love. Barbecue, spicy and original, flavorful, crispy, irresistible. 3-piece with the fries and a Pepsi. Go get your one big deal, stop stress me. All when we dip on the toilet, no left foot.
Anything for the taste of a juicy, crunchy, irresistible KFC big deal. 3 pieces of delicious chicken, fries and Pepsi. KFC, it's finger licking good.
We are the best at what we do. At Hose Assembly and Supply Limited, we supply hose fittings and tools. We guarantee we can't be beaten when price and quality are combined. You brand us the Hose and Tool Boss because we deliver the most effective industrial solutions. Come in and experience the joy of shopping with Hose Assembly and Supply Limited. Call us 876-923-3936 or visit 173 Hagley Park Road, 2 Charlesworth Crescent or Montego Bay Trade Center. Hose Assembly and Supply Limited. More than just hoses. Now open every Sunday.
Do you have a consumer-related issue? Want to learn more about matters concerning you as a consumer? Well, keep it locked to Nationwide 90 FM for the Consumer Hour with me, Nora Gay Banton. Weekdays from 9 to 10 a.m. For all your consumer-centric matters, stay tuned to the Consumer Hour on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
I'm Dennis Brooks.
I'm Alan Campbell.
I'm Floyd Green.
And I'm Garth Williams. Catch us on the Jamaican Dads podcast right here on Nationwide 90 FM, Thursdays at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m.
The Jamaican Dads podcast is all about providing men with a healthy, safe, and functional forum to tackle many of the taboo topics that concern our masculinity.
Like everyone else out there, we're dads of varying amounts of experience who come from different backgrounds and often view the world differently.
We're definitely not perfect, but we are all brethren and we're all committed to this piece of rock called Jamaica.
Too often, there are no safe spaces for men to explore the issues which are important to us.
Plus, most of the content out there about parenthood is produced by women, for women. So we think it is important that we be the change we want to see.
Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Jamaican Dads with a Z.
And definitely join us here on Nationwide 90 FM every Thursday at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Sundays at 6 p.m. for the Jamaican Dads podcast. It's a revolution in media.
Area Council 1 meets in West Rural St. Andrew, Thursday, February 27th at the Stony Hill Vocational High School, 6 p.m. Deputy Leader MP Desmond McKenzie leads the team. Here MPs Fable Williams, Alanda Terrelong, Senator Marlon Morgan, Councillor Tasha Schwab, John Myers, Rowan Hall and others. Hosted by MP Juliet Cuthbert Flynn, always crossing the finish line and let them pull up on his side track. Area Council 1 meeting, West Rural St. Andrew, Stony Hill Vocational High School, Thursday 6 p.m. See you there!
Cover Story is brought to you by
Multilink. Roll with control. Use Multilink. Safe, fast, and accepted in more locations.
Multilink. Access every time, everywhere I go. Multilink. 24/7 access for me. It's just a win-win when we use Multilink. This card is Jamaican built, yeah. Fast and secure, you can use anywhere. Spend while supporting the economy.
Look for the Multilink logo on your card and benefit from Jamaica's largest debit payment network.
Multilink. 24/7 access for me.
What would I do without my Multilink?
It's 5:35 and it's cover story time. My name is Sanjay Lewis, and our focus this afternoon is on that Oricabessa primary fire. And sections of Oricabessa Primary School in St. Mary were destroyed by fire on Wednesday. Videos circulating on social media show the sections of the school building engulfed in flames. Principal Winsome McFarlane Forbes says all the school's sporting equipment was lost in the fire. She says she expects that face-to-face learning will resume shortly.
We'd have lost three rooms, three timber rooms. So one holds the PE, let's say the PE department. So we'd have all the equipment there. The other two rooms, we had two classes in one of the rooms, which we were establishing Farragon as a special education unit, and the other room was abandoned. But it contained furniture, some furniture as well. So we'd have lost furniture, electrical fans, tablets that the children were using there, and so all our football gears for the netballers, the footballers, trophies for sport, cricketing equipment, all equipment to deal with sports. We'd have lost all of that. So moving forward, the fire personnel, they have visited the school to do their investigation. Also, the police officers from the scene of crime, the electrician has visited as well, and he has done some work to remove the wires that were hanging. So the fire is isolated to a particular section of the school. So the main buildings on the plant, they are intact. So we can resume to face-to-face in short order. NSWMA has promised to help us to remove the rubble tomorrow morning. I want to add that we are grateful for the support from the community and the stakeholders that have reached out thus far.
And that's Winsome McFarlane Forbes. She's the principal of Oricabessa Primary School. Meanwhile, MP for Western St. Mary, Robert Montague, says temporary arrangements will be made to facilitate the continued education of students. He says the disaster will give a fresh impetus to plans long crafted to renovate the school.
The board chairman already got a letter from the Ministry of Education, the National Education Trust, a letter of commitment detailing the improvements that are to be done in 2025 for the Oricabessa Primary School. The government is almost rebuilding the primary school. It is unfortunate that we have had this fire at this time, and in discussions with the Prime Minister, is going to bring that forward so that rather than later in the year, it would be earlier to get the buildings going as quickly as possible once all the approvals are in place.
That's Robert Montague, MP for Western St. Mary. In the meantime, Commissioner of the Jamaica Fire Brigade, Stuart Beckford, says the brigade's resources are being stretched thin, especially in the corporate area, due to frequent fires. The fire chief is urging farmers to avoid using the slash and burn method to clear land for cultivation.
Farmers, I want to make a special plea to them to resist the temptation to slash and burn. We are in, as far as the metaphors has indicated, a period of drought in a number of our parishes. So it's very dry, it's very windy, and those are two ingredients that will cause a fire to start and spread rapidly. So please resist the temptation to burn and burn carelessly. If you have to burn, do so responsibly. Please reach out to the fire brigade and we can provide you with the necessary guidance as how you can do these things and do them safely.
That's Stuart Beckford, Commissioner of the Jamaica Fire Brigade. So, for the first half of the cover story, we're now being joined by the MP for Western St. Mary, that's Robert Montague. Good afternoon, Mr. Montague.
Good afternoon, sir, and pleasant good afternoon to your listeners.
Thank you, as always, for joining us. What immediate measures are in place to ensure that students and teachers can resume learning effectively?
Well, this morning I was invited to a meeting at the school, with the various stakeholders, the principal, board members, teachers, staff members, and some parents were there. And having gone through what exactly was happening there, the principal identified 2 classrooms that were not currently being used fully, 100%, and that was identified to utilize them to continue some of the activities that were in the building that went down. The Baptist church, because the school is church-owned, the Baptist church next door also made an offer to have space available in their church hall if it is needed. So at this point in time, they indicated that it would not be needed immediately. So they are cleaning up the 2 classrooms and then to get the classes going there. Partial school, it won't be a full school opening tomorrow, Friday. Monday, everybody will be back. I think it's the senior, the grade 4, 5, and 6 should be invited, or 5 and 6. I'm not sure exactly what grades, but it's not the whole school coming back tomorrow. In the discussions with the Minister of Education, senior representatives from the ministry were dispatched. They came. The police and the fire investigators have now turned the site back over to the school. So I made arrangements with the National Solid Waste Authority for a team to come in Friday morning to cart away the debris and to begin other cleanup. Community members are also assisting in this regard. And in my discussions with the Most Honorable Prime Minister, we are moving now to the planned improvements to the school, which is almost a brand new school is going to be built, some 20 classrooms, a number of labs, a brand new library, canteen facility, a new sewage system, solar system, disabled ramps, etc. And these were all contained in a letter dated May 2024 to the board chair and copied to the principal. So they are aware of the commitment and the improvements that should come in the next financial year, which is 25-26. So Prime Minister is now moving along with the ministry to bring it forward. So rather than later in the financial year, to get it earlier. As a matter of fact, this Saturday, Sunday, and Sunday, the engineers will be on site doing some geotechnical tests, and they are going to be moving now to